Yo guys, what is good? Acid once again with another installment of Worth It. And this time we're speaking about the new scout feature. Let's get into it. Alright, so the scout system. You can access it via the journal and then you click on the hero that you want and there's this little symbol. So there's 3 different tiers that you can target. You can target tier 1s, which are the generals, tier 2s, which are the next summoning rate below that, and then tier 3s. The tier 3s are from Alum to Rumji, Jin to Rudley is tier 2, and then Jinai to Garf, the generals, are tier 1. The lower tiers don't have this feature enabled at all. So there is some rules attached to it, what you can sacrifice and what you cannot sacrifice for the required points. The required points are 8,000 for tier 3, 16,000 for tier 2, plus a hero from tier 3, and tier 1 is 30,000 plus a hero from tier 2. Then this nation thing is an indicator, it's not a fixed rule. You can sacrifice some heroes that are from the nation, some heroes that are not from the nation. Valar, for example, requires Wasted Red. Sabrina is Greenlands, but she doesn't show up in Alum. So you have to go through here and see what you can actually sacrifice. So the next rules are, you can sacrifice pretty much anything you want. You can see here, you can sacrifice any rare, magical, and legendary hero, and even faded heroes that you want. And they have different points associated to that tier again. So the tier is the summoning rate. Nika, for example, is considered a legendary tier 1, just because her summoning rate is extremely low. Then Zareen is categorized as a tier 2. While Hawkeye is a tier 4, which is the lowest tier, she only gives 50 points. Same goes for Faded. Shell is considered a tier 3, she's worth 200 points. Sabrina is a tier 5, which is 100 points. Your heroes must be unlocked and they cannot be in any teams. Let me quickly show you how you can confirm that. Let me pick her. You can see here when you click on this little compass needle, organized party, remove all, and then they get enabled to be sacrificed. Okay, so these are the rules that you have to follow. Some heroes don't show up where you expect them based on the nation. So as you could see, Wasted Red, but she's from Greenland. So these are the rules and you have to check for yourself which one is applicable. There is different points and I didn't want to make it too complicated. So I went ahead and created a spreadsheet with all the different points. So you can see tier 5 fadeds are worth 100 points. Tier 4 legendary is 50 and so on. And I made like some, I would call it an estimation sheet that allows you to see how many heroes you kind of need for a specific point target. So I filled already some things out. Let's say I would want to sacrifice tier 3s and I would need, what, I don't know, 40. So this would be the target number that I have to hit minus some magicals. If you wanted to create a hero from tier 3 down to tier 1, so you create the tier 3, you create the tier 2, and then finally tier 1, I made it so you have the total points needed for them in the respective category. So if you want to create a tier 1 from the ground up, you click compound and you see the exact points. This is again not a calculator and I don't think anybody will need this sheet, but I will share it anyway. So let's go quickly back to the game. So now that we have the rules completely out of the way, is this feature worth it? And unfortunately, the answer is it depends. So let me try to make it as easy as possible to understand. If you need a specific tier 3 hero, and probably only one, then yes, this feature is worth it. You invest into one hero and one hero alone for 8,000 points. 8,000 points is still a lot, but not the world. Like, I can get to that in like a couple of weeks. Probably even faster if I watch more what I sacrifice and whatnot. Tier 2 heroes. No, 100% no, and I will explain why later. Tier 1 heroes. Yes, the reason for that is simply because they are so freaking rare. Yes, they cost 30,000 scout points, but you can start right now and just accumulate points. I'm pretty sure even if you're ready at the 30,000 points, you won't have summoned 5 Rachels in the same time. The chances for that happening, like, either you have to be a super whale and then this feature makes no sense for you anyway, or you have to be like extremely lucky in the top 1% of lucky people, and then you should probably play the Powerball or something. So yes, for tier 3 I think it makes sense to get another copy in order to transcend those heroes. It will take a long time, probably like a couple of months, maybe 2, 3, 4 months, depending on how much you summon, how you value your resources. This feature makes particularly sense when you combine it with the door to creation. Without the door to creation, we would be in such a pickle with this whole thing, because it's just ridiculously expensive. What I'm talking about is this hero re-recruit, and particularly the hero re-recruit part 2. So as I mentioned before, tier 3 only if there is one specific hero you need, because it's extremely difficult to get one of those tier 3s guaranteed. Usually when you do this re-recruit, you will get like maybe a tier 5 or a tier 4. Usually I've gotten a shell once out of it, and I think a Mahar, but the rest were all in the tier 5 category. I have not gotten anything higher from it, and certainly no Baraka for me. However, the mileage gives you tier 2 and above. So for me, I cannot get any of the tier 3s, or the specific tier 3 that I want. So yes, this feature makes sense, because these are the only ones you cannot target. You can even target the tier 1s if you wanted to, right? You need to use the scout feature in combination. I mentioned also tier 2s are not worth it. Why? They cost double the amount of the tier 3 heroes, plus you need one of the tier 3 heroes. So that's already kind of bad for you, because if you don't have the tier 3 hero, you might just wait ages for it, because you cannot target them exactly. So what you do is you use this hero re-recruit for all your tier 5 and tier 4 heroes that you don't need, and get this mileage. You get the tier 2s and you're happy. Maybe you get even a tier 1. For the tier 1 heroes, even with this mileage recruit, out of 50 pulls, you must be still lucky to get one of the tier 1s. The tier 2s, yeah, you get all the time, but the tier 1s still rough out of 50 pulls. When I say pulls, I mean like 50 re-recruits to get like 10 mileage points. I have done, I think 15 or 20, so I have spent 40, close to 40 faded heroes in here and gotten a bunch. So I've gotten 2 Valentiners, 1 Shakan, and I believe I got a Rara from here. I'm not 100% sure, so either 15 or 20 mileages I had full. I have not gotten anything else, and I think even if you have like 50 of them, probably you won't have pulled one of these. So for the tier 1s, it probably is worth it, just because you need to transcend them. If you check this gold amount, 50,000, a tier 3, right, faded, or a tier 1 legendary would cost you 150 of those tier 1s to make this ready, right? If you would re-roll them in here to get to the faded, that's 22 million or something to get to the point where you could gain enough mileage to gamble for the tier 1s. And yeah, this again, probably it's like in the 30 million golds that you would need to spend, while the scout is free on gold. You might be thinking, oh, but I could just target them in the recruit here, right? In the string of creation, because we got them for almost every general. Janai doesn't have one, and if Janai is the one you want, yeah, tough luck. There's no other way around. But even if you want a battery, right? This gives you one battery for an estimated cost of like 25,000 Zs, just to average it out. You might get lucky, you might get unlucky and have to go full in on that. But yeah, 25,000 Zs. This is something you wouldn't spend with the journal. You could still summon on the desired banners you have and guarantee one of your tier 1 generals. Yes, it takes a while. Like, this is a feature that probably will take you a couple months, maybe 4 or 5 months, depending on how good you are with your resources, but it won't cost you gold. Is it worth it? In my opinion, yes. It's a good way to accumulate heroes that you usually cannot target. So for the tier 3, I think it's optimal if you need only one. If you need a bunch of tier 3s, then the daughter creation is obviously better because you roll on 5 of those heroes. But if you need to target one specifically that you want, it's not bad. 8,000 points is a good target. For the tier 2s, no, like, they would have to reduce the points to 10,000, 12,000 maximum and remove the hero that is necessary for it to be worth it, just because the daughter creation is so good. For the generals, yes, it is worth it because the chances of you summoning like 5 generals is just so low, and over time, like, we're speaking like 3 to 4 months, if you get the one more to transcend your general and then to maybe element enhance them or something, I think it's a good feature. And 30,000 points, in my opinion, isn't even that bad. I mean, you can do this as completely free to play. So per day, just per day, I get 25 sacrifices. In the worst case, that's 25 times 5 per day. So we're looking at 125 points per week. That's like close to 1,000. So 1,000 points per week, 30 weeks, half a year. And that would be if you never sacrifice anything else. So that would be kind of the minimum, I would say. But if you're farming like me, and I did this already, but I got more again of these stupid tokens, like, this is worth 2 points. All these, like, 4 points here, 4 points here, 4 points here, and this accumulates. So I would say over 3 months you can get a general. This is meant for the long term. If you're in for the long haul, I think it's a good feature. Maybe a little bit on the expensive side, but nonetheless something that is at least a good addition. With all that said, I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you learned something or if you just want to help me out. Subscribe to my channel. It's free, by the way. I didn't know that people don't know, but yeah, subscribing is free. So smash that subscribe button. Tell your friends. Smash that subscribe button. Leave a comment, leave a like. Tell me what you think. Obviously, this is my opinion. Let me know what you think about this whole feature. Do you think my analysis is right or wrong? Let me know. With all that said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, enjoy the grind.